I'm Pat Schaffer. Welcome to Lifestyle. Today we go to Casablanca. Can you imagine that it's been 50 years since that great film? An author, Frank Miller, brings the whole subject to us, and we've kind of set the setting here for Casablanca, and we're even going to enjoy the music. We can't get into the mood without As Time Goes By, as performed by Tuxedo Junction. Enjoy.
A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by.
And when two lovers meet, they still say I love you. On that you can rely.
Songs never out of date, hearts filled with passion, jealousy and hate.
Woman needs love,
and man must have his mate that no one can deny.
It's still the same old story,
a fight for love and glory. A case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. A fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by, as time goes by.
Ooh, thank you. In the mood, I guess. I guess that song more than anything else says Casablanca. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, Tuxedo Junction is going to be back in performance with us. And also a little later into our hour of nostalgia, Chuck Schaden is going to be joining us. So it's back to the 40s. And the man who took us there, really, is Frank Miller. And thank you for bringing this subject to us.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
It's a great pleasure. Casablanca, the 50th anniversary commemorative. That's what this is all about.
Right. The film turns 50 actually November 26th of this year. It's the 50th anniversary of its premiere at the Hollywood Theater in New York. And Turner has a lot of plans for it. They've already got the film out in theaters. It played the Music Box in Chicago a few weeks ago. And in the fall, it's going to be out. It's going to be reissued on home video. It's already available, but they're doing a special reissue with a series of commemorative packages, one of which will include the book.
Ah, well, probably nobody has looked at this subject now in the way that you have. You have researched it from one end to the other. Little odds and ends we don't even care about, maybe, right? So why was this particular film magic? What's the secret here?
I think a lot of things happen. For a film in this period, it's got some of the most contemporary acting you'll ever see. These performances could have been given yesterday. Whereas there are other films from 42 you look at now and you almost giggle because the acting got so big in scale, and that's the key. The acting in this film was on a very small scale, lots of details. The look is very contemporary. Even though it's a black and white film, the costumes for Bergman, that simple, natural look she brought to Hollywood, never aged. She said in the 70s there wasn't a dress in the play she couldn't have worn 30 years later.
Ooh.
So there, you know, you've got that, so you can show it to your friends and they're not giggling at the beginning of every scene every time the leading lady comes on in a new dress. This happens with a lot of older films. Then you've just got the incredible chemistry between Bogart and Bergman.
This wasn't even going to be Casablanca. That wasn't the original name.
No, it was from a play called Everybody Comes to Rick's, and that line's still in the movie. At one point, Renaud says to Strasser, we must go to Rick's, everybody goes to Rick's, or everybody comes to Rick's, excuse me.
And the beauty of it is it would not have been Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. There were other people who were cast first.
Yeah, well, actually, most of the alternatives to Bogart are myths. When Hal Wallace, the producer, got a look at this property, he saw it almost immediately as a vehicle for Bogart. Wallace had been head of production at Warner's since the early 30s, and he'd seen Bogart arrive there in 35, seen him languishing in secondary roles, and then had been one of the people who had helped push him into leading roles with The Maltese Falcon and High Sierra. It was felt that he was a solid leading man. The one thing he needed to be a star was to be in a great love story. And this was it. It was the perfect Bogart role, and at the same time provided him with a great love story.
And perfect for Ingrid Bergman, too.
Yes.
We're going to take a little look at a film clip. And of course, this is, I guess, this is the highlight. Let's take a look.
Yes.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Miss Elsa. I never expect to see you again.
They took it off. They took
It's been
it
a
off.
long time.
Yes, ma'am. A lot of water under the bridge.
Can they put the sound in here?
Some of the old songs, Sam.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is Rick?
I don't know. I ain't seen him all night.
When will he be back?
Not tonight no more. He ain't coming. He went home.
Does he always leave so early?
Oh, he never. Well, he's got a girl up to the Blue Parrot. Goes up there all the time.
You used to be a much better liar, Sam.
Leave him alone, Miss Elsa. You bad luck to him.
Play it once, Sam. For all time's sake.
I don't know what you mean, Miss Elsa.
Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by.
Oh, I can't remember it, Miss Elsa. I'm a little rusty on it.
I'll hum it for you. Da-da, da-da, da-da. Da-da, da-dee, da-da. Sing it, Sam.
You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That is so pretty. The thing is that the relationship actually between Ingrid and Humphrey wasn't off stage, wasn't what we saw on screen.
No, a lot of people see the film and think there must have been a love affair going on because they're so hot together. The truth is, first of all, they moved in totally different social circles. Bogart stayed basically in Hollywood. Bergman went home to Rochester, New York, where her husband and baby were. But also, Bogart avoided her off camera because he had a very jealous wife her name was Mayo Metho. She swore that if she ever found proof that he was having an affair with the leading lady, she'd kill him. And she was convinced he was having an affair with Bergman.
So he didn't dare to do...
Right, because she called the set 4 and 5 times a day to check up on him. He didn't want her to be told by some assistant, oh, he's in Miss Bergman's trailer. That would have been it. He would have been a dead man.
Gee, and he looks so tough.
I know.
That's kind of discouraging.
The problem is she was tough. She could match him drink for drink and blow for blow. And there were hotels and restaurants where they weren't allowed to come together.
Frank has many more things to tell us. Frank Miller, who's written the book Casablanca, As Time Goes By. one thing you might be thinking about before you come back, maybe you know, what's the lucky number on the...
Yeah, what's the number you play on the roulette wheel to win at Rick's Place?
Okay, if you know that, give us a call just for the fun of it. 530-8386. We're coming right back.
Looking for Mr. Right? Turn to Nick at Night. For TV Land's most eligible bachelors, like the strong, silent type, meet Friday, Joe Friday.
I'm not married.
How about a hopeless romantic named Eb?
How do I look, B? Let me count the ways.
Or do you want the boy next door? He's Dobie Gillis.
I'm charming, lovable, clean-cut, winsome, loyal, devoted.
The bachelors of Nick at Night. Sure, they're two-dimensional, but they're not afraid of commitment. They'll be here for you every night on Nick at Night.
Cable in general is a great idea. My kids love the Disney Channel.
He loves the Disney Channel. He does. 43 years old and he loves Disney.
Oh, really? They've got great family shows. Reminds me of TV when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, with Disney, I know my kids are watching something worthwhile. And I feel good about that.
My favorite part is when Tommy climbs up into my lap and watches with me.
That is why we really have Disney.
It is. It's true.
The premium channels with every penny.
You know, we feel very much that we're at Rick's Place here. Casablanca, it's a celebration, 50th anniversary as time goes by, and this is the book, it's just out, and the author, Frank Miller, is here as our guest today. Frank, you know lots of interesting tidbits, things that we'd never think about. For example, I can't imagine Ronald Reagan, who was, I guess, considered, was he?
Actually, what happened was he was a name in a press release. The legend is that he was considered because there was an article in the Hollywood Reporter in January of 1942 announcing that Warner's was doing Casablanca. Warner's wanted to announce they were doing the film. They didn't have a star named, so they did what any other studio would have done at the time. They had 3 young players that they were building to stardom, and they put their names in the press release just to get them ink. Basically keep their names in the trades, and that was Ronald Reagan, Ann Sheridan, and Dennis Morgan. But the press release never even says which male is playing which role, and it's totally focused on the fact that Ann Sheridan and Ronald Reagan had already done 2 other films, so we had a hot screen team here.
Well, it didn't turn out that way at all.
No, and again, the only one who was ever really considered for the film was Ann Sheridan, who originally would have been the leading lady back when the leading lady was named Lois Meredith.
What were some prizes here that we should know about, things that we wouldn't think about? I asked about the roulette number. We'll let that stand for a minute, just see if somebody out there knows the number on the roulette wheel that would have come up most at Rick's.
A lot, yeah.
And something else.
Yeah, a lot of people are surprised to discover that the film was shot entirely on the Warner Brothers backlot, with the exception of one location scene where they drove down the road to the Burbank Airport and dressed the Burbank Airport up as Casablanca for Major Strasser's landing there. And then later filmed a plane departing at night, which was the Laszlo's plane leaving. In fact, that entire final scene at the hangar and the airfield was actually filmed on a backlot. And to make it look bigger, they built a smaller plane to scale in the background. And then, just to keep it alive, they had midgets walking in front of the plane as the engineers and other passengers.
No kidding. We're going to take a look at that scene in a minute, but let's go to our phone first, because somebody knows the answer. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
I have the answer.
What is it?
It's he played 22 on the roulette wheel.
How do you know that?
And well, it's my favorite movie, and I've probably seen it 30 times.
Boy,
and
you
I
are...
I have a question for your guest.
All right.
Do you know who played the number 22? What the actor's name was?
Yeah, Helmut Dantine.
Very good.
You thought you were going to stump him, huh?
I thought I would, yeah.
That's wonderful. I bet you're enjoying this then. If you're a fan of Casablanca, you probably are really getting a kick out of this, and this is a great book, something you'd be interested in. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It was fun to have you here. And as soon as we can, I'd really like to be able to show the clip of the airplane. So if that's ready, is that ready? Yeah. Let's take a look. Now remember, you were telling us there were...
You'll see, if you see any movement in the background in front of the plane, those are actually midgets.
Okay. It's ready. Okay, let's take a look.
Out of 10, we'd both wind up at a concentration camp. Isn't that true, Louis?
I'm afraid Major Strasser would insist.
You're saying this only to make me go.
I'm saying it because it's true. Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor. You're part of his work, the thing that keeps him going. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris. We didn't have. We lost it until you came to Casablanca. We got it back last night.
When I said I would never leave you.
And you never will. But I've got a job to do, too. Where I'm going, you can't follow. What I've got to do, you can't be any part of. Ilsa, I'm no good at being noble, but it doesn't take much to see that the problems of three little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Someday you'll understand that. Now. Here's looking at you, kid.
Oh, that wonderful line, here's looking at you, kid.
Absolutely. You know, that line was actually Bogart's. The script is, here's good luck to you, kid, and when they got to film it the first time in the Paris flashback, legend is that he thought he had a better way to say it, and so he said, here's looking at you, kid, which became the character's tag. He says it 4 times during the movie.
Well, the truth is the script was up for grabs all the way along here, wasn't it? They didn't know what they were going to do with this.
Well, they had some ideas. They had a script when they went into shooting. It just wasn't approved. They weren't happy with every little detail of it. So they were writing the script as they went along. There were days, including the scene we just saw, where the actors got the script the night before or even that day. In fact, that scene that we just showed, there were a lot of delays shooting it because the actors had gotten the script so recently they couldn't remember their lines. It took them until the day they shot that film to figure out how to write the ending. It always, every draft I read doing the research for the book ends with Rick sending Ilsa off with Victor. But they were never happy with the way it was written, on top of which they wanted this to make Bogart a romantic star. He was succeeding beyond their wildest dreams. They got into the rushes and began wondering if the audience would accept his losing the leading lady. So for 7 or 8 weeks, they argued about how the film should end, which upset Bergman a great deal because she didn't know who she was going with. She didn't know how to play a character.
That's really... Now, years later, somebody actually did rewrite it just for themselves, did they not? So that there was a happy ending?
Yeah, there was a Brazilian film fan who recut the ending for a private showing because it was totally illegal. But at the Brazil Film Festival, sometime in the 60s, João Luis Albuquerque, which is a great name, showed his recut version of Casablanca in which Ilsa stays in Casablanca and lets Victor go off on his own.
Wonderful. I don't know, this is a play and a film that's going to just go on and on and on, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think as long as people, you know, as long as people fall in love, as long as people have causes they care about, we're always going to have Casablanca fans. And that's as it should be.
Exactly. This book has a lot of interesting features in it. Hundreds of pictures, names of all the people who are involved in the cast, everything about costuming, some neat shots of Peter Lorre and other people who are in this that you may not even be thinking of as you think about Casablanca. There is a sense of thinking about Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart, just the two of them, which I guess, in a way, is really success.
Oh yeah, and they get the bulk of the book, of course, but we've also got to acknowledge what everybody else did. They weren't the only 2 people involved in making this film a hit.
Sidney, they had some great actors in this, Sidney Greenstreet. And
wonderful. The stock company at Warner Brothers, the people that were under long-term contract, like Sidney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre, you know, and Helmut Dantine, I mean, these are just some of the best people in Hollywood.
Is your book out now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, for all you Casablanca lovers, it's out there for you. 50th anniversary commemorative, Casablanca, as time goes by. Frank Miller, you've met him here. Thank you very much for bringing the whole subject to us today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
When we come back, we're going to stay at Rick's, but we're going to let Tuxedo Junction take us into the 40s and nostalgia, and a little later, Chuck Schaden's going to join us too.
The year 1945. The occasion, our boys come home from World War II. The music, the best we ever had. And now, the Good Music Record Company presents the great music of that fabulous era. Homecoming 1945. A collection of 45 original hits from one of America's proudest and happiest moments.
Grab your coat. Don't forget your hat.
I'm gonna buy a paper doll that I can call my own.
Tangerine. She is all they say.
I got a gal in Kalamazoo.
This wonderful offer is not in any store. You get all 45 hits on 4 big records or 3 cassettes, only $19.95. Also available on compact discs for just $24.95.
Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-733-8700 or send $19.95 for LPs or cassettes or $24.95 for CDs, plus $3 shipping to Homecoming 1945, P.O. Box 8900-A, Buffalo Grove, Illinois.
I'm not the Beastie Boys or Run DMC. I'm not Jay Leno or someone named Shaky. I wrote that. Boing. I wrote that. Zodiac. Zodiac. I wrote that.
We got every comedian and their mother here at Comedy Central, the only all-comedy network.
Word to your mother.
That's me. I'm his mother. Word to me.
Here we are at Rick's. It feels a little bit like it anyway. Our crew was great. They put us together a great set here today to give us the feel, a little nostalgia. Pat Principe is here. She is the owner and the choreographer and the director in general of Tuxedo Junction, and that's a grand group that has joined us before, which we've always appreciated. But you love the music from this period of time, and you're going to take us back there again, aren't you?
We certainly do love it, and we hope to give you some of that today, this afternoon.
What's the allure, Pat?
Well, I think the era itself, which is pretty much displayed in this wonderful movie that we're talking about today, Casablanca, when he said, as long as there's lovers, there'll always be Casablanca, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And I think as long as people enjoy wonderful music and like to have a good time, there'll always be Tuxedo Junction.
Of course, there's the thought that this is nostalgic and that it appeals to only to one group of people who have a first-hand remembrance of that. Is that true? What do you think?
There's no doubt that those people absolutely adore it because they have an opportunity to relive, live some happy times. But younger people love it too, and I think part of the reason is because it's presented in such a fun atmosphere besides being such great music. But people like Harry Connick Jr., Natalie Cole, are bringing back some wonderful, wonderful music and giving younger people an opportunity to hear it for the first time. And many times, if the parents are going to come to Tuxedo for an evening, they'll come back and bring the family, or vice versa. It works either way. So
how nice.
It's a wonderful evening.
Well, this is going to be a wonderful evening for us because here we are at our table close to the edge of the performance stage. All we have to do is just wait to enjoy Tuxedo Junction, and we're going back into the Andrews Sisters.
Yes, I think that'd be great.
You're going to love it. Tuxedo Junction, the Andrews Sisters.
You, I was lonesome, but then you came in sight and my heart grew light and this whole world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit. You deserve expressions that really fit you, and so I've racked my brain hoping to explain all the things that you do to me. Now, me, Mr. Shane, tico, he's a cuckoo in my clock. And when he says cuckoo, he means it's time to woo. It's Tico Taco, all the lovers on the block. I got a heavy day, a tete-a-tete at 8. So Spico Tico, tell me, is it getting late? If I'm on time, cuckoo, but if I'm late, woo. Go on, my heart is on tomato, what's it rate? I'm just a birdie and a birdie who goes nowhere. He knows of every lover's lane and how to go there. But in a band of a heart, my Tico's terribly smart. He tells me gently, sentimentally at the start. Oh, I hear my little Tico, Tico calling, because the time is right and shades of night are falling. I love my nuts are goo-goo-goo-goo in the clock. Tico, 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 Tico time. We're going to slow it down just a little bit. You know the words at home, please join in. When there are gray skies, I don't mind those gray skies. You make them blue, sunny boy. Friends may forsake me, let them all forsake me. I still have you, sunny boy. You're sent from heaven, and I know your worth. You made a heaven for me right here on earth. When I'm old and gray, dear, promise you won't stray, dear. I need you so, sunny boy. I'll be with you in apple blossom time. I'll be with you to change your name to mine. One day in May, I'll come and say, happy the bride that the sun shines on today. What a wonderful wedding there will be. What a wonderful day for you and me. Church bells will chime, you will be mine in apple blossom time. In a little honky-tonky village in Texas, there's a guy who plays the best piano by far. He can play piano any way that you like it, but the way he likes to play is A to the bar. When he plays it's a ball, he's the daddy of them all. The people gather around when he gets on the stand, and when he plays, he gets a hand. The rhythm he beats puts the cats in a trance. Nobody there bothers to dance, but when he plays with the bass and guitar, they holler, oh, baby, daddy, A to the bar. A blink, a blank, a blink, blank, blink, blank, a plug another key. A riff, a rap, a riff, rap, riff, rap, a riffin' up indeed. But when he plays with the bass and guitar, they holler, oh, baby, daddy, A to the bar. Choo-choo to Broadway, ooh, Cincinnati. Don't get icky with the 1, 2, 3. Life is just so fine on the solid side of the line. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. City racky sacky, want some seafood, mama? Shrimps and rice, the very nice. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. City racky sacky, want some seafood, mama? Shrimps and rice, the very nice. I like oysters, lobsters too. I like the tasty buttered fish. Ooh, when I come home late at night, I get my favorite dish, fish. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. City racky sacky, want some seafood, mama? Shrimps and rice, they're very nice. Blink, blink, a blink, blink, a blink, 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 I'm plugging on the keys. A riff, riff.
Now, enjoy delicious fried food without fried food calories. Introducing the incredible Swiss dry cooker. A simple, powerful design gives you crisp, deep-fried goodness with just a drop of oil. The secret of the dry cooker is this patented hot air tower. Superheated air rushes up, circulates around food, cooking quickly, evenly. Dry cooking actually bastes food not in fattening grease, but in their own rich flavors and aromas. Put chicken in the dry cooker, and it's surrounded only by naturally flavored, superheated air. With only a drop of oil, turn out crispy, perfect frozen French fries and fish sticks. Dry cook hot dogs, and they taste like they've been barbecued over a hickory fire. Dry cook vegetables without boiling or steaming. Look at this amazing comparison. This broccoli was boiled, this done in the dry cooker, bursting with colors and vitamins. You can dry roast nuts or prepare a mouth-watering roast. The incredible Swiss dry cooker with exclusive hot air tower gives you all the flavor of crisp frying, but almost none of the fattening oils and calories. Order now on this special TV offer for just $19.95. Money back if not delighted. Use your credit card for rush delivery. Here's how to order.
Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-328-2828. That's 1-800-328-2828. You can also save COD charges by sending $19.95 plus $4 postage and handling to Cooker, P.O. Box 7137-D, Buffalo Grove, Illinois 60089. That's P.O. Box 7137-D, Buffalo Grove, Illinois.
The only feeling worse than learning your child has been abused is knowing you could have prevented it. Fact is, 1 in every 5 American kids is abused before age 18. I know. I see it every day. Kids Peace can help protect a child you love from abuse. Call for the free pamphlet, 24 Ways You Can Prevent Child Abuse. You can stop child abuse before it starts. Call Kids Peace, 1-800-858-KIDS right now.
Well, we're back at Rick's, and Pat Principe just said, "Where is the waiter here?" And even the band is wondering when the waiter's going to be by.
Soon.
He's coming soon, I know. But we're dishing up more great music, that's for sure, thanks to you, Pat Principe, and the Tuxedo Junction. And we've just enjoyed the Andrews Sisters. They were great. What's coming up next for us?
There's another group that we feature at Tuxedo Junction who made a lot of popular hits, and they were called the Ink Spots. We'd like to do one of theirs.
All right, and after the Ink Spots, you're going to do a...
We're going to do another little surprise for you.
Okay. Stick with it.
If I didn't care more than words can say, if I didn't care, would I feel this way? If this isn't love, then why do I thrill? And what makes my head go round and round while my heart stands still? If I didn't care, would it be the same? Would my every prayer begin and end with just your name? And would I be sure that this is love beyond compare? Would all this be true if I didn't care for you? If I didn't care, honey child, more than words can say. If I didn't care, would I feel this way? And if this isn't love, then what make my head go round and round while my heart just stands still so much? If I didn't care, would it be the same? Would my every prayer begin and end with just your name? And would I be sure that this is love beyond compare? I didn't care for you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Come back to me then. Come back to me. That was wonderful. We really enjoyed it. What a pleasure. How neat.
Thank you.
Later on, we're going to have even more music, aren't we?
Yes, we're going to close with our favorite song.
Okay.
Can you guess what that is?
Tuxedo Junction?
You got it. No more surprises, Pat.
Okay. That's good. We don't want any more surprises.
I know.
Tell me about Tuxedo Junction and where do you perform?
Well, we're open on Friday and Saturday evening, and we're located in Wooddale in a beautiful complex that's called Giorgio's. And Giorgio's provides the dinners for Tuxedo Junction and do a fabulous job on it. And very reasonably priced, I might say. Our package includes dinner and a show and dancing. We have lots of dancing for the guests. And we just would love to have everybody come and see us because it's just a wonderful, wonderful way to spend
Now,
the
you
evening.
just did a show someplace before you came here today, too.
Yes.
So Tuxedo Junction travels? Is that the idea?
It travels, yes. We do some shows that are a little bigger than what we do at Tuxedo Junction, including some dancers. So we've been busy
you
today.
Have dancers, too.
We have dancers, too.
That sounds really exciting. Who comes, Pat? Just older people?
To Tuxedo Junction? No, as I said, we do have all ages that are represented, but the older people, of course, love it because it is their music.
Reminiscent for them, nostalgia.
Music,
We're talking about nostalgia today, and so it's only appropriate that we would visit with a Tuxedo Junction. And all the people that you have now, you were here before visiting us maybe a year ago.
Yes,
I see a lot of the same faces. So your crew stays together?
It's a wonderful, wonderful family of performers, and I personally consider myself very fortunate. Our musical director, our performers, our musicians are super. They're the finest.
How many people are actually involved in this?
We have 5 musicians that perform regularly with us, and we also have 6 performers. So it's quite a big show because it's a very intimate type of supper club, much like Rick's Cafe.
Well, much as we tried to do here today, which really I hope you've enjoyed it at home because I just think it's a big, huge effort for all of you to be here with us, and I really
appreciate it. It's our pleasure.
That.
We appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
Well, we've loved it. How could we do the 40s without this is what I want to know. But if you would like to be in touch with Tuxedo Junction, there's a phone number. It's 708-442-1311. And where are they calling here?
That's our box office.
Okay.
And they can call us. We're there Monday through Saturday.
And this is located in?
This is located in Wooddale on Irving Park Road, and we're just 5 blocks
out
west
in the
of
burbs.
83.
You don't even have to go into the city for all this good music.
Right.
Okay, again, 708-442-1311, and you can enjoy Tuxedo Junction. What's the favorite song?
Our favorite song?
Well, I know yours is Tuxedo Junction, but what do they want?
Do you know, as time goes by, is requested quite often at Tuxedo Junction. So I think that's a real tribute to the movie because that really
very
put
appropriate today too, as we talk about Casablanca.
Yeah.
And again, I think it had to be the magic of Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman.
What he was saying about contemporary acting is true. I mean, that movie stands on its own today, and many movies in that era were, I love them all, but they were schmaltzy. They were schmaltzy.
Yeah, they were. Of course, Ingrid Bergman's beauty didn't hurt anything at all either, did it?
And of course, the clothes she wore then can be worn today. I mean, they're so exquisite, and I think that's almost like the music of the 40s lives today because it's such great music.
With a great beat.
The era just had an elegance about it that I don't know if it's ever going to be duplicated.
Do you mean that, Pat?
I truly do. Yeah, I really do.
You feel that you're the keeper, in a way, of a period of time?
That's a nice way to put it. It's almost, Tuxedo Junction, we think of it almost like you can be walking into a Ginger Rogers, Fred Astaire movie if that could be possible, where they had these lovely places where people had a chance to get dressed up, have a romantic evening or a fun evening. And really, that's what Tuxedo Junction is all about. That's what it's like, what we're trying to achieve.
No kidding. That going back into that period of time and
reliving it, literally reliving it.
And of course, there's so much going on this year because of Pearl Harbor and everything about the 40s.
Right, that's right.
Going back to that period of time, so it's really the right period of time for anybody who's looking back now.
That's right.
Who's wanting to touch again into that period of time. And you know what?
What, dear?
It's going to be a surprise for you. Because Tuxedo Junction is about to perform for us.
Oh, are they?
Yes,
it is a surprise.
So enjoy, please, as we do.
Well, I think we need our girls out here.
Yeah. I may be wrong, but I think you're wonderful. I may be wrong, but I think you're swell. I like your style, say. I think you're marvelous. I'm always wrong, so how can I tell? 'Cause all of my shirts are unsightly. All of my ties are awry. If dear in you I think rightly, it's the very first time you came along, say, I think you're marvelous. I think you're grand, but I may be wrong. Yeah. I may be wrong. All right. I may be wrong. Say, all of my shirts are unsightly. Say, all of my ties are a cry. They are. If dear in you I take rightly, it's the very first time you came along. Say, I think you're marvelous. I think you're grand, but I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I may be, maybe wrong.
If your neighborhood's a little rough, don't get scared, get organized. When neighbors and bullies team up, crime doesn't stand much of a chance. Yeah. So pick up a pencil and write this down. I'll show you how you can help me take a bite out of crime.
Accommodation. More pleased than to welcome Chuck Schaden to the show. He's the man who is truly the keeper of nostalgia in the Chicagoland area, I believe.
You do a show about nostalgia. How could I miss it?
I know. I invite you back every once in a while.
I have to tell you, Tuxedo Junction is the greatest.
Aren't they fabulous?
It's $1 million worth of entertainment when you go to see them in Wooddale.
Well, I loved even having them here,
too. Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
sure. Well, you got a $500,000 worth of entertainment. See, the whole show in Wooddale is perfect. Yeah.
What's going on with you, Chuck Schaden?
Well, I'm doing my radio shows Saturday afternoons from 1 to 5 on 97 FM.
You've been doing that for how long?
22 years. 22 years with the radio show. And I'm on WBBM News Radio 78, Monday through Friday at midnight, and Saturday and Sunday evenings from 8 until 10. So we're on the air 7 days a week with all the old-time radio shows.
With your really great radio voice.
Well, it's an enthusiastic voice, anyway.
Let's see, I was going to look. I had something.
My voice down there?
Well, no, I brought something special.
Your ventriloquist, you threw my voice.
No, I brought a mic. I brought an old-fashioned mic here. I don't know where it is. I'd love to find it if I get my hands on it. Because I wanted you to see it. I know you love old things like that. So I thought, well, I'd share it with you. Radio is an important part of the 40s. And you've saved that for us so that we get to listen back to it a lot. But
you know, one of the things I'm doing now in my broadcasts, I'm tracing radio in World War II. I started back on December 7th of '92, and I'm going to go along until the end of the war, 50 years later, in '95. And each week, or almost every week, we're playing material that the people at home heard about the war. Variety shows, programs where they talk about the home front, news broadcasts, FDR's fireside chats, all kinds of things. It's a fascinating look. It's something that turns up in the history books as a footnote, maybe.
Right.
But on our broadcast,
it comes
you really
so
get the whole
alive,
thing.
doesn't it?
It's amazing.
Well,
Wonderful.
people love it. They love listening. I listen myself, Chuck.
I know you're out there. I know you're out there.
But I do. You are so involved now with the Museum of Broadcast.
Oh, yeah. It's great. We're 5 years old. We opened up 5 years ago at River City on Chicago's near south side. And in a week and a half, on the 13th of June, we're going to open up at the Chicago Cultural Center. It's the historic Chicago Public Library building. And it's on Michigan Avenue between Randolph and Washington Street. And we've got a beautiful new home there, and we're going to have some marvelous exhibits.
Your last home was good. I don't know if...
River City was terrific. It was a great place for us, but we had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to move to Michigan Avenue in the Cultural Center. And we're going to have free admission, no charge. And you can come in and you can see Fibber McGee and Molly's Closet.
That's your own innovation, isn't it?
Well, Bruce Dumont is the founder of our museum, and Bruce and myself and a few others kind of all got together 6 or 7 years ago to bring this thing to fruition, yeah.
But the Fibber McGee and Molly
Closet,
the
McGee thing is ours.
That's yours, isn't it? That's what
my listeners and myself, we put that together. And in fact...
They sent you things, didn't they?
They sent me things for the closet, and they sent money in to help us build it. And we're opening something new at the museum when we reopen here in the middle of June. We're going to have Jack Benny's Vault.
Oh,
now, again, my listeners have contributed, in many cases, $39, because that's, of course, is Jack's age. And we're building a vault tribute to Jack Benny. And you can come into this vault and you can see lots of Jack Benny memorabilia. All kinds of special things in there. A tribute from the fans to Jack Benny. Yeah.
Do you remember being on the show one time when Joan Benny was, I guess, Jack's daughter?
Yes, and she's coming into town for the opening and the dedication of the vault, yeah. She's coming in again, yeah.
So you must have a lot more space than
now. We have more space than we had at River City. And I used to broadcast my Saturday show from River City, or I have been from River City. We were right out in the open. In the museum. I was another exhibit, I was an artifact from the past. But now we have our own studio. It's about a 75-seat studio, and we can do radio recreations in the studio, and we do our broadcast from there every Saturday afternoon. And people can come down and see a live radio broadcast, as live as it is when I'm playing the tapes of the old radio shows, but we're there live. doing our thing.
You don't happen to have at the museum, you don't have the old sound effects equipment?
We have, that's in our plans, to come up with a sound effects exhibit.
Because that was probably one of the most intriguing aspects of radio.
Sure, yeah. Well, you know, when you take cellophane, you shouldn't smoke cigarettes, but you take the cellophane off a package of cigarettes, and you crinkle it softly. I can't do it here with no cellophane. You crinkle it softly in front of a microphone, and you get the sound of a flame, fire burning. If you start crinkling it very frantically, the flame grows. You know, it starts out maybe the crackle of a fire in the fireplace, and the more you do this, you've got an inferno in a whole thing, and it's done with a sound man crinkling some cellophane.
And
it's a wonderful thing.
Tin for thunder.
Yeah,
they just had wonderful. They had wonderful.
You see, the ingredient that was so necessary was your imagination.
That's right.
See? And that's what radio used to do so well. Today, I hate to say it, but on radio, there's nothing left of the imagination. I mean,
do you ever see that coming back? I mean, we're talking about old movies. They don't make movies like that anymore, you know.
Well, I don't see a network programming original radio drama or comedy or variety.
Too expensive?
I do see the advertisers don't perceive there's a big enough audience for it. And radio stations today are so formatted. This station is all this, that station is all that, the next station is all of this. So nobody really wants to interrupt their programming for something that isn't in their format. National Public Radio does a few things with contemporary radio drama.
Right.
And occasionally here or there you might find something like that. But I don't think you'll see a lot of it. Yeah, there's a lot. There's an awful lot. Forget the old stuff, which is rich and a treasure trove, and which we try to bring back as much as we can, and we're doing a fair job of it, I think. But it's difficult to get the support for new time drama. Hyman Brown, who produced Inner Sanctum in the old days, and in the more recent days produced the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. People used to listen to that and love it. He says that for the cost of a 30-second commercial on the Super Bowl, he could produce 5 years worth of original radio drama, but he can't get that one sponsor to pay what he has to spend for
so
the
chances are
Super Bowl.
We are never going to see
pockets. You have to look for it. And if you want old-time radio, you got to look for it. Or new-time radio, you have to look for it.
Well, it's not hard to find old-time radio if we follow you.
Well, I've got it, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'm really excited about the museum and the new opening June 13th. Can everybody take advantage of that?
Anybody can come. The museum will be open 7 days a week. The opening
and
day it's free, no admission charge. You're within 2 minutes walk from the Art Institute across the street from us, down from Buckingham Fountain. You can walk to State Street.
It's an exciting building.
And the building is an historic building. It was the original Chicago Public Library, and it's open to the public.
Before our time runs out, you know what I want to do, Chuck? I want to mention a couple of places here. One, you brought something.
This is the stuff that dreams are made of. This sounds like fire now, I suppose. This is the Maltese Falcon.
Yes, and you can get the
encrusted
Maltese
from beak to claw with jewels and gold.
At Metro Golden Memories, which, Chuck, you are the owner of. It's located at 5425 West Addison in Chicago, and the phone number there is 312-736-4133. And if you want great old posters, we've got all the
good old things from the old days. Radio shows, we sell videotape and rent videotape, but only of the good old classic movies. You can't buy something new from us, because you can buy that any place.
That's right.
The good old stuff we have. Yeah.
Ooh, how nice.
Nice environment, too.
For all those who are into nostalgia. But for all those who are forward-looking, too, you know, I want to give you information again about the Museum of Broadcast Communications, because it's down at the Chicago Cultural Center, and it's area code 312-629-6000, just in case you'd like to make a call down there and find out, you know, about what's going on. How big is your space down there, and what do you see in the future? I mean, this is the beginning of something, isn't it, really?
We hope so. We hope so. We have a major portion of the south half of the building And it's a big building. It's a block long.
Right.
We have a television studio in there where you can come in and be a newscaster for your 15 minutes of fame.
That's right.
And you can get a videotape of your performance. We have the Radio Hall of Fame, which is opening, and in there is Edgar Bergen's Charlie McCarthy and Mortimer Snerd and Effie Clinker, and then Jack's Vault and Fibber's Closet, and so many other things. We have a display of vintage radios and vintage television sets. We have all kinds of things. We hope to grow, and with the support from the public, we will. And it's a great spot. It's a wonderful place to look at history. You can come and watch old television commercials, listen to old radio shows.
And you know what's nice, Chuck? It's nice that you're there. You're the right man in the right place at the right time.
I'm kind of down about it, you can tell.
Yeah. Doing something you absolutely love and preserving so much for so many people that, you know, it's easy to let things like that slip away.
Well, that's why it's there. That's why it's there. We've got thousands of television shows and like 50,000 radio broadcasts.
You got to go down and see it all for yourself. And we hope you've enjoyed our good visit, our look back. Chuck Schaden, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Tuxedo Junction is waiting to take us home, so let's go there.
Oh yeah.